scientists. We are jumping into Earth science, and our first stop is the Earth's major systems. Today, you will be able to identify the Earth's major systems, and you will be able to recognize that these systems interact and affect Earth's materials and processes. To get started, I want you to think about any time you have ever been outside in any activity that involved you interacting with nature. Anytime you've been outside, any activity where you have been involved with nature. If you were thinking about swimming at the beach, going to the lake, going on a hike, playing in the snow, watching animals in your backyard, anything that involved nature, seeing the leaves change, jumping in piles of leaves, mowing the lawn, any activity where you are outside, you are surrounded by the earth. You are interacting with one or many of the Earth's systems. So here's what we're looking at. We have four major systems on Earth. They are the geosphere, the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, and the biosphere. These four major systems interact or work together in order to make life on Earth possible, functioning, and manageable. So if we look at these photos, we obviously have the geosphere. The geosphere contains all of the Earth's solid and molten or liquid rocks. It also includes sediment and soil. So that's the geosphere. The atmosphere includes all of the gases in the air. Air is invisible, but from space, the atmosphere is visible as a thin layer with a slight blue glow. So that's the atmosphere. The hydrosphere is made up of all the liquid water on Earth, such as the water in rivers, lakes, and the oceans, as well as water found underground. It also includes all of the ice and snow on Earth. So the hydrosphere, all of the liquid and frozen water on Earth. And the biosphere. The biosphere contains all of the living things on Earth. Humans are a part of the biosphere too. So as we continue to do our reading here and jump into this, we're building some background information so we can dig into each of these Earth's spheres a little bit deeper. So we're just trying to recognize right now today how these systems may interact. Scientists who study Earth divide it into four major systems. These systems, or spheres, are the geosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. Each of these systems is made up of many parts that work together as a whole. The four systems interact in many different ways. Their interactions are constantly changing Earth's surface materials and processes. And again, we can look at the photos to learn more about these four systems. So, in each of these systems, the prefix or the first part of the word, like bio, is going to help us to understand what sphere this is talking about. So these prefixes, they are from Greek, and they're going to help us give us a clue about what it is we are studying. For example, in the geosphere, geo is from the Greek word meaning earth. So if we know that geo means earth, let's take a peek over here at atmos. Atmos, what do you think atmos means? Atmos means air or gases or vapor. Hydro, that prefix hydro, hydro means water. And then bio over here, bio means life. So these prefixes, they're going to help to tell us about what each of these spheres do. What solid features are found in the geosphere and in the hydrosphere? What solid features? So our solid features are going to be our rocks, right? We're going to look at our rocks, our soil. In the hydrosphere, we're going to look at that ice. Those are solid features. What liquid features are found in the geosphere and the hydrosphere? Well, in the hydrosphere, it's going to be all of the water. That's going to be your liquid. And in the geosphere, that molten or liquid rock is going to be in the geosphere. So we have liquid things in both the hydro and the geosphere. How is the biosphere different from the other three systems? Well, the biosphere is different because it's made up of living things. Where these other three systems, the hydrosphere, geosphere, and atmosphere, those are non-living things. But the biosphere is all of the living things. When the Earth's systems interact, they have an effect on one another. Earth's systems interact in many different ways. All the living things on Earth depend on water to survive. Many living things on Earth live in the ocean, rivers, and lakes of the hydrosphere. So the biosphere and the hydrosphere are going to interact because they need each other to be able to survive. And if we think about the atmosphere, we know that all of the things in the biosphere, they're going to need air to breathe. So they're going to need the atmosphere as a connection to the biosphere to keep life sustainable. And then, of course, where does all of this take place? Well, it takes place on Earth, which is the geosphere. All of the soil, the solid and molten and liquid rocks, the sediments, all of that, the geosphere is Earth. So we can see ways that all of these things are going to interact together. And we will be digging deeper into this as we move forward, because we will study each of these different systems individually and really dig a little bit deeper. When you get to your wrap-it-ups today, what you are going to need to do is you're going to need to classify these four systems. So if you had water in a pool, which system would that belong to? Pebbles on a beach, which sphere would that belong to? A bee visiting a flower, which sphere does that belong to? And the oxygen that one might breathe, which sphere or system does that belong to? And then we're going to ask you to apply your thinking here about these spheres, these Earth's major systems, and think about if beavers often build their dams on streams forming ponds. So which systems are interacting when a beaver builds a dam? Which systems are interacting when a beaver builds a dam? And you'll need to be able to label and identify those, as well as be able to explain how you can determine what interactions are taking place. It's important to remember that the prefixes are helping you to understand what sphere is being identified, and how having that knowledge helps you as a scientist moving forward. Remember, your goal here today, scientists, is that you can identify the Earth's major systems and that you can recognize that these systems interact and affect Earth's materials and processes. You got this, scientists.